Hello, students. I'm back with some new topics from the same chapter, Working of Institutions from our Political Science book. If you remember, in the last tutorial, we discussed what is a political institutions, how do we need that political institution for our country, and about the case study of Mandal Commission that exemplified the role of political institution. So now, as you can see, that there are three types of political institutions in our country which are also known as the organs of the government, and they are the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Political institutions, if we talk about, first of all, there are union executive, the president who is the constitutional head of the state, and then the prime minister who is the head of the government and council of ministers. Now, what is the role of these three? The legislature consists of elected representatives who make the laws. The executive implements those laws, and the judiciary refers to the system of courts that interprets the laws or simply resolves any of the violation of these laws. Here in the picture you can see the Parliament House, the highest legislature body of our country. Now let's discuss about the political institutions in brief. Parliament. We know that India has a parliamentary form of government. In a parliamentary form of government, the parliament is the supreme and representative of the people from different states and communities as well as the union territories work here on the behalf of the people of the country. The legislature in the center is also called as the parliament or the Sansad. So, over and all, the parliament is the highest legislative body of the country. Our parliament makes laws for the whole country. It is the supreme lawmaking body in the country. It has the power to legislate on all subjects that under the jurisdiction of the central government. It can also change the existing ones. That means making new laws and the amendments of the existing one. Both are only done in the parliament. Now, need for parliament in the government is due to different reasons. Number one, it is the lawmaking body. It is the supreme and the final authority for making laws in our country. This task of lawmaking on legislation is so crucial that assemblies are called legislatures. It can change existing laws or make new laws or abolish existing laws and make ones in their place. Secondly, Parliament controls all the money that governments have in most countries. The public money can be spent only when Parliament sanctions it. Number three, Parliament all over the world exercise some control over those who run the government. And in our country, the Parliament is having the full control on the government. Those who run the government can decide only so long as they enjoy support of the parliament and the majority of members of parliament. Otherwise, they could be put out of the power anytime if they fail to deliver the goods and to gain the support of the parliament. And parliament is the highest forum of discussion and debate also on public issues and national policy in any country. Parliament makes people able to participate in the decision making process and indirectly controlling the government. After that, what is the composition of the parliament? The president, Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, they all form the government. The Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are actually the two houses of the parliament. Lok Sabha, that is also known as the lower house, and Rajya Sabha is also known as the upper house. Now we come a little bit to the Lok Sabha. The lower house of the parliament is called the Lok Sabha or House of the People. It is called so because it consists of the members who are directly elected by the people. Now, let's discuss a little bit more about the Lok Sabha. Number of members. The maximum number of members in the Lok Sabha can be 552. At present, the total strength of the Lok Sabha is 543. What is the term of Lok Sabha? The term of the Lok Sabha is 5 years from the date of its first meeting. This term can be extended by 1 year at the time of emergency situation, but it cannot be extended beyond 6 months after the emergency, and the Lok Sabha can be dissolved even before its full term of 5 years if the running government is not able to have the no confidence motion in their favor in any circumstance. In that situation, the Lok Sabha can be dissolved even after completion, before the completion of 5-year term. Now, who elects them? Lok Sabha consists of the members who are directly elected by the people. 2 of the members are nominated by the president. Now, the Rajya Sabha, that is the upper house of the parliament. It is also called as the Council of States. The state participate in the legislative activity at the center through this house. Now, a little more bit about the Rajya Sabha. First of all, Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament. The Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. It cannot be dissolved. 1/3 of its member retire only after every 2 years. Every member has a tenure of 6 years. The maximum number of members of the Rajya Sabha can be 250. Out of these, 238 are the representatives of the states and union territories, and 12 are the nominated one by the President of India. At present, the Rajya Sabha is having 245 members. Elections to the Rajya Sabha are indirect. The members of the Rajya Sabha are basically elected by the members of the legislative assemblies of the states, municipal corporations, etc. Now we'll come to a little bit about the political executive of our country. The political executive implements the laws that are made by the parliament. That means we have just done with the legislative body and now we are coming to the executive one. Here in the flow chart you can see at first the president is there, then the vice president, then prime minister and the council of ministers, and at last the council of state and house of people. That is the flow chart through which we can have an eye about the power that lays in the hands of different authorities in our country. Now we can see that there are 2 types of executive, the political executive and the permanent executive. The political executive basically deals with the major decisions that come in the hands of these political executive. The Prime Minister, that is the most important political institution of our country, they are not elected directly by the people. Actually, the President appoints the Prime Minister, leader of majority party or a coalition government can become the Prime Minister. He or she continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority party or the coalition government. Here is the Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narendra Modi. Now, what are the powers of the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister is the head of the government. He chairs the cabinet meetings and coordinates the work of the departments. Final decision making left in the Prime Minister hands only. In case of any disagreement, if any type of dispute arises between the two parties or some of the council members of council of ministers, in that condition the Prime Minister takes the final decision. It is also the Prime Minister only who advises other ministers to be appointed or dismissed by the President. The Prime Minister is a link between the President and the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister also has to head the views and positions of the coalition partners and other parties. Prime Minister also depends on the person holding that position. So they all are the powers of the Prime Minister. After that, the President appoints Council of Ministers on the advice of Prime Minister from his own party or the coalition parties. Appointed Council of Ministers may be member of a parliament or who is not a member of parliament, but the person has to get elected in the parliament within the 6 months time duration after the appointment. That means a person who is a member of the Council of Minister must be a member of parliament too. Now, in the Council of Ministers, there are 3 types of ministers: the cabinet ministers, ministers of state with independent charge, and ministers of state. All the top level leaders of the ruling party comes under the cabinet ministers in charge of major ministry in a ring of Council of Ministers comprising about 20 ministers in this arena. Next is the minister of state with independent charges are having the in charges of smaller ministry. They participate in the cabinet meetings only when they are specially invited to attend them. And last are the ministers of state who are attached with the portfolios to assist the cabinet ministers. Now, the parliamentary democracy can also be said as cabinet form of government, because the cabinet, the Council of Minister, is an important composition of the parliamentary form of government. Every ministry have secretaries who provide the necessary background information to the ministers to take decisions. The cabinet works always as a team. So, thank you. We'll meet very soon with some new informations from the topic. That's all for the day. Bye-bye.